Hey, Critical Analysis, this is your video for Week 13, Chapter 10, Vocabulary Specific. So your Chapter 10 lecture video was already uploaded. Hopefully you've already taken a look at that and looked at the readings for the text and skill sheet. So I have my study guide up and going in the background there and the textbook there as well. Just a reminder, the study guide is right here if you want to have your own pulled up. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this vocabulary. So if I'm looking at the side that starts with the word lobbying, from lobbying down to clout, all of these come from the reading about giving non-citizens the right to vote, which is a reading from your text and skill sheet that we already talked about in the previous video. So I'm going to click there. This is, again, where they all are coming from. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Lobbying is when you seek to influence a leader on a particular position, meaning people are professional lobbyists. Their job is to go to like a congressman or a state representative or something like that and try to be like, hey, I need you to vote a specific way. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to influence a leader to vote a particular way on a certain position, bill, issue. Inequities. Lack of fairness or justice. So if something is inequitable, it just means it's not being applied fairly across the board. Suffrage is the right to vote. We talked about this word in our text and skill sheet. So suffrage meaning the right to vote. Through the years, different groups of people did not have suffrage, and then through advocating and things like that, they were given the right to vote or given the right for suffrage. Inclusive is kind of what it sounds like, including everything, so it covers everything. It's all inclusive. I don't know why I always think of like vacations that are all inclusive. You pay for the hotel and the food and the drinks and everything. Everything's covered, all inclusive. And then clout, we also talked about this word in your text and skill sheet. Clout means having influence or power. So if you have clout, maybe you're able to kind of, have a little bit of say in something, or you're well known, so you have some influence. So those are the words from that reading over give non-citizens the right to vote. The next comes from the bio, from the chapter, the biography. So to get there, I'm actually going to go to a reading that we don't use, but it's the quickest way for me to get there. And I'm going to go from there to scroll down. Here it is on Barack Obama. So again, this is a chapter that is about American government. And so at the time that this was written, Obama was one of the world's largest, most well-known leaders. And he is also outside of office already. So it was a little bit easier to write about him. So Obama is where the next several words come from. So from tenants down to stimulate, here we go. So tenants are those who live in a building, like an apartment building or a home. Maybe they rent a home from you. So the people who occupy that living space. Litigation is when you're trying to take something to court. You're trying to take legal action to litigate. A litigator, so taking litigation. Subsidies is money granted by the government for assistance. So sometimes, like if someone receives, they're not called food stamps anymore, but I know a lot of people still use that colloquial term. That's technically like a government subsidy. It's, assistance granted by the government. Stimulate is to encourage interest. So if you're trying to stimulate someone on an idea, you're trying to like really motivate them or get them interested in that idea. All right. From there, the next set, unanimity here, down to protesters, so like this chunk right here. These are all from the voting age should be lowered selections. I'm going to go back here, and it is right here. So this is another one that we already talked about in the text and skill sheet. So this is where this next set of words come from. Unanimity means agreement by all people. Kind of, I think of like unanimous, like something where everyone agrees, like, yes, we all are on the same page here. Moving down, manipulated is when you control or influence something, but kind of like in a sneaky way. To be manipulated or to manipulate something isn't always, it's kind of like a clever or sneaky way to influence something. Deference means having respect. So you show deference by respecting or honoring someone. Spawn is to make something happen or start to exist. If, like the idea spawned more ideas, like it kind of flowed over and caused more things to happen. And then we have protesters, people who are against something. So they are dissatisfied with something, so they go and they picket, or they, sign petition letters, or they, lots of different ways to protest. All right, and then the last set of, this word is really random because it's not associated with an actual reading. It's kind of plugged in there. So falter means to lose strength, confidence, or pacing. So like if you faltered while speaking, maybe you lost your confidence a little bit, or you lost your pacing, your cadence as you speak. So to falter is kind of like maybe even make like a little mistake, or to lose down on something. All right, now this last set, these are the ones from your TED Talk. So the TED Talk here, scroll back here, here's the TED Talk, the one that we talked a little bit about in the text and skill sheet. So after you've read that, we have petition, just to make a formal request. I'm going to petition something. It means you're going to, usually in writing, you're going to make a formal request to do or not to do something. Inquiry is when you have a question or you want to investigate something. This is a very science type word. You see it in a lot of science classes. To inquire is you want to question, you want to know something. Jaundice is a medical condition which causes yellowing of the skin and even like around the whites of the eyes. You sometimes hear this with newborn babies in particular, often get tested for jaundice. I know it seems kind of random, but it goes along with the TED Talk. Endorses means that you approve or support something. During like political campaigns in particular, you might always hear like, and I endorse this message. It means they support it, they've approved it. And then skirmishes are like a disagreement or even fighting, usually verbal, can even be physical though. So those are your vocabulary words. And guys, that's your last set of vocabulary words. So this is your last vocabulary quiz. You do have a 6 through 10 vocabulary test coming up, but this is your last individual chapter quiz. I know it's emotional. So inside your course here, let's go back into our assignment folder, and you're going to pull up your vocabulary quiz. So here is the quiz. Last one, so last reminder that only one sentence is correct as written. Please do not write correct more than once. Oh my goodness, there's only one that is correct. Also, just putting the word not in front of a word does not tell me that you understand what the word means. It just tells me that you know how to put the word not in front of a word. So keep the underlined word, change something about the rest of the sentence, not using not. Short answer, just respond to the question. Make sure you're responding to the actual question, not just defining the word. And then fill in the blank. Okay. So that is your vocabulary quiz. And like your text and skill sheet, when you're done, put it in the Dropbox due Sunday, April 25th. Make sure you check out again the video for the lecture over chapter 10 if you have not already. Respond to your discussion post. And just make sure you're getting everything. Get your last chunk of points because the class is ending very quickly. So you want to make sure you're getting all the points possible. All right, I will see you in the next lecture video. Bye.